My mom hasn't sat down in 3 days. Not once. The first day, everyone joked about it. She cooked standing up, watched TV standing up, even fell asleep standing against the kitchen counter. By the second day, it wasn't funny anymore. Dad begged her to sit down. She just smiled. I'm fine. At 11 p.m., I walked into the living room. Mom was standing in the corner, facing the wall, completely still. I called her name. She didn't move. Then she quietly said, "Not yet." I felt my stomach tighten. Not yet what? She didn't answer. The next morning, she was standing in a different room, still awake, still standing, still smiling. Dad tried to force her into a chair. The second her knees touched the seat, she screamed, not in pain, in panic, like something terrible was about to happen. Dad let go immediately. That night, at 2:11 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. I froze. Mom was standing 10 feet away in the hallway. The message said, "Whatever happens, don't let me sit down." My hands started shaking. My brother has been standing in our backyard since 2 a.m. He hasn't moved once, and he keeps staring at my window. I noticed him when I woke up thirsty around 2 in the morning. At first I thought it was a shadow near the fence, but then lightning flashed outside, and I saw him, barefoot, wearing pajamas, completely still in the wet grass, just staring directly at my bedroom. I checked my phone. 2:07 a.m. I texted him, "What are you doing outside?" No response. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. It was my brother, from upstairs. "Who are you texting?" My stomach dropped. I slowly looked toward my bedroom door and heard footsteps above me. My brother's room was directly upstairs. Then another lightning flash lit up the backyard. The thing outside was still there, still smiling, still staring at my window. Then my phone buzzed again. A photo message. Unknown number. I opened it. It was a picture of me standing at my bedroom window, taken from outside. My hands started shaking. Then another message appeared. "Don't turn around." I froze. Very slowly. I looked behind me toward my dark bedroom doorway. Someone was standing there, tall, breathing heavily. And outside the window, my brother in the backyard slowly raised one finger to his lips, telling me to stay quiet. At 11:03 p.m., my sister started counting. 1, I didn't think much of it. 2, she was sitting on the living room couch watching TV. 3, I asked what she was doing. She ignored me. 4, my mom told her to stop. She didn't even look up. 5, by midnight she was still counting, slowly, calmly.
31, 32, 33.
I stood in front of the TV. Hey, nothing. 34. Her eyes stayed fixed on the screen. 35. Then I noticed something strange. She never repeated a number, not once, even after hours. No mistakes, no pauses, no thinking, just counting, perfectly. At 2:17 a.m., she said,
2,461.
My stomach dropped. There was no way. Nobody could count that long without stopping. I grabbed her shoulder. She finally looked at me and whispered.
They told me not to lose count.
I froze. Who? She slowly pointed toward the attic hatch, then looked back at the TV.
2,462.
My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. I stared at the screen. My hands started shaking. The message said, "I'm sleeping at Emma's house tonight." I looked back at the couch. My sister smiled.
2,463.
Then every light in the house went out. My mom kept answering questions nobody asked. It started during dinner. Out of nowhere, she said, "No, he's not here yet." My dad looked confused. "Who?" Mom blinked. "What?" A few minutes later, she said, "Not tonight." Nobody had spoken. Nobody had asked anything. The room went silent. Mom just kept eating. Around midnight, I heard her talking in the kitchen. I walked downstairs. She was alone, standing by the sink, listening, like someone was speaking to her. Then she quietly replied, "I understand." I felt uncomfortable. "Mom?" She jumped, then laughed. "I thought you were asleep." At 1:41 a.m., my phone vibrated. A text from Mom. I stared at the screen. Mom was standing right in front of me. The message said, "Don't answer him." My heart stopped. I slowly looked up. Mom was smiling. My phone vibrated again. Another message. "Whatever asks questions tonight, it's not me." The kitchen light turned off. Mom immediately answered, "Yes." Nobody had spoken. My brother hasn't blinked all day. Not once. I noticed it during breakfast. He was staring at the TV, eyes wide open, not blinking. At first I thought he was messing with me, so I started counting. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, nothing. No blink, no tears, nothing. "Bro, seriously?" He slowly turned toward me and smiled. "I already did." I laughed. "What?" He looked confused. "I blinked last night." Something about the way he said it made my stomach tighten. That evening I walked past his room. He was sitting on his bed, still staring, still not blinking. I checked my phone. 11:48 p.m. Then it buzzed. A message from my brother. The same brother sitting in his room. "Don't talk to me." I froze. I looked back into his bedroom. He was still there, watching me, eyes completely open. Another message arrived. "I've been hiding in the garage since this morning." Then the thing in my brother's room finally blinked, and every light in the house went out. My mom has been sitting in the kitchen since midnight. She hasn't moved once. And every time I check, she's looking at a different door. I woke up around 12:40 a.m. to get some water. When I walked past the stairs, I noticed the kitchen light was on. My mom was sitting at the table, completely still, staring at the back door.
Mom?
No response. I figured she fell asleep. I went back upstairs. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "Don't go downstairs." I froze. She was supposed to be in the kitchen. I called her immediately. She answered on the second ring, whispering.
"Mason, I'm at work."
My stomach dropped. I slowly looked toward the stairs. The kitchen light was still on. The chair scraped across the floor below. Slowly. Then another text arrived. "Whatever is downstairs." Don't let it see you. I heard footsteps in the kitchen. Then the back door opened, and someone walked inside. A woman's voice echoed through the house.
Mason?
My mom's voice. The thing sitting in the kitchen finally stood up and started walking toward the stairs. My dad has opened the front door 23 times tonight. The first few times nobody cared. He'd walk to the door, open it, look outside, close it, then sit back down. 10 minutes later, he'd do it again. By midnight, my mom was getting annoyed.
Dad, what are you looking for?
He didn't answer. At 12:43 a.m., he opened the door again, looked into the darkness and whispered.
Not yet.
I felt a chill. Not yet? What wasn't here yet? At 1:18 a.m., he opened it again. This time I followed him. The street was empty. No cars, no people, no sounds. Dad stood there smiling, waiting. Then he quietly said,
He's getting closer.
I stepped back.
Dad, who?
He slowly turned toward me. For a second he looked confused, like he didn't know who I was. Then he walked back inside. At 2:07 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from my dad. My stomach dropped. Dad was sitting 10 feet away in the living room. The message said, "Don't let him open the door." My hand started shaking. I looked up. Dad was already standing, walking toward the front door again. He grabbed the handle, smiled, and said,
He's finally here.
Then 3 knocks came from the other side. Dad opened the door, and the person standing outside looked exactly like him. The TV turned on by itself, and it was showing my bedroom live. I froze on the couch staring at the screen. The camera angle came from the upper corner of my room, near the ceiling, but I never installed a camera there. On the TV, I could see myself sleeping under the blanket, completely motionless. My chest tightened because I wasn't in bed anymore. I was downstairs, watching it. Then the version of me on the screen slowly sat up, its head turned directly toward the camera, toward me, and smiled. Every light in the house instantly shut off. The TV remained glowing in the darkness. Then words appeared across the screen. He knows you're awake. A loud creak echoed upstairs. Slow footsteps crossed my bedroom floor. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. No signal. The TV image changed again. Now the camera showed the hallway outside my room. Something tall moved past the doorway. Too tall. Its head bent sideways unnaturally. Then suddenly, the thing stopped and slowly turned toward the camera. My face, but stretched. Wrong. Smiling too wide. The screen flickered violently, and the thing whispered through the TV speakers.
Go back to sleep!
My dad started standing outside my room every night at 2:13 a.m. But he never said anything. He just watched me. The first time it happened, I woke up because my bedroom door was slightly open, and someone was standing in the hallway, tall, completely still. At first I thought I was dreaming. Then the figure slowly stepped forward into the light. My dad. He stared directly at me without blinking.
Dad?
No response. Just staring. I checked the clock beside my bed. 2:13 a.m. After about a minute, he slowly walked away down the hallway. The next night, It happened again. 2:13 a.m. exactly. Standing outside my room, watching me. This time I sat up in bed.
Dad, what are you doing?
His face looked wrong somehow. Too pale. Too empty. Then very quietly, he whispered.
Don't let him inside.
My stomach dropped.
Who?
My dad's eyes slowly moved toward the dark end of the hallway. Then he whispered.
The thing wearing my face.
Every light upstairs instantly turned off. The hallway disappeared into darkness. Then something began moving down the hallway. Heavy footsteps. Slow. Wet. My dad suddenly backed away from my bedroom door. Terrified. And from the darkness behind him, another version of my father stepped forward, smiling. The second one looked directly at me and whispered, "You picked the wrong one." My sister hasn't closed her eyes all night. Not once. At first I thought she was joking. It was 10 p.m. She was sitting on the couch watching TV, staring straight ahead. I waved my hand in front of her face. Nothing. I asked if she was tired. She smiled.
A little.
At midnight, she was still awake, still watching, still staring. At 1:36 a.m., I walked into the living room again. The TV was off. My sister was still sitting there, looking directly at the black screen, without blinking, without moving. I felt uncomfortable.
Why are you still awake?
She didn't answer. A few seconds later, she whispered.
He's almost finished.
I felt my stomach tighten.
Who's finished?
She didn't answer. At 2:04 a.m., my phone vibrated. A text from my sister. I looked up immediately. She was sitting right in front of me. The message said, "Don't look at the reflection." My hands started shaking. The TV screen was black, reflective. I slowly turned my head. My sister suddenly shouted,
No.
I froze. Another message arrived. He's behind me. I looked at my sister. For the first time all night, she looked terrified. Then every light in the living room turned on, and something moved inside the TV screen.